This is the 2026 Sage Intacct Construction Release 2. So sorry for the technical difficulties. Once again, my name is Ariel Johannes, and I'm going to go over some of the features that are coming out in this release this next week. One of the big things that's happening is they're expanding some of the ICRW features. There's going to be the AP payment history. It provides a unified view of payment activity, and this links each payment item such as checks, cash, adjustments, or discounts to the specific AP items to which they're applied to. So that allows for more robust history on an AP history, as well as AR payment history. It's going to be the inverse of that, but this should allow for some better reporting within ICRW for AR payments as well as AP payments. Last quarter, they came out with a work order dimension. With that dimension, there's now going to be able to do ICRW reporting within that. That's going to allow for you to have better functionality. So if you have need to see those work orders and see how they're displaying on a report, so you can see the cost of warranty work or service work, you're able to do so, and that's going to give you some better functionality with that new work order dimension. From ICRW, those were those changes that are happening this next quarter. But for the custom report writer, there's some other new enhancements that are happening. One of it is the new GL account reconciliations object. This allows just for some more robust reporting for when you've done reconciliations to grab those details and be able to create a report off the custom report wizard. So that's another new feature coming out this next quarter. AP automation. So AP automation has been around for the last year and a half. It's going to be more robust. They're continuing to enhance it. So this quarter 2 update, they're going to do intelligent three-way matching with AP automation. So as you can see in this picture here, you can see that it's doing the line level of matching, but then it creates an exception summary. Within that exception summary, it's going to tell you the variance from a PO to the PO invoice. So on that AP invoice, then you can see, okay, there's a slight change for the amount. It's a quantity variance of negative 0.16.67. This allows me to decide if I need to go back to that invoice and not pay it, or just make sure that I go back to my vendor and find out more details or if it's something like a penny off, that variance will tell you if it's minimal variance, and just go ahead and pay it because of taxes. So these are just some features that are coming out in the AP automation that's going to benefit for the long term. Additional enhancements with the AP automation. So there's going to be, currently today with the AP automation, you decide at the setup if it's at summary level or single line level. Now, one of the features that's coming out in this quarter is when that AP automation, you upload that invoice. When you upload that invoice, instead of it being always summary level versus line level, it allows you from the upload to decide on the invoice versus all invoices to change the lines to be able to do all the lines or just do summary level. So that's one thing that's really nice, because you get to pick and choose. So if it's a job costed, you're going to want to see all those single lines. But if it is for a overhead bill, maybe you don't need to see all the lines, and it can be a summary. So that's where it's going to benefit you long term with the AP automation features. The other enhancements is in the Copilot Close workspace. They have added a custom view. This custom view is going to be really great for when you're doing your month-end close, that I could create my own view versus just the generic view that somebody's going to have. So somebody who's an AP clerk, they're going to have a different view. So they're going to want to see their custom view versus somebody who's an AR clerk. So when they do those month-end close within Copilot, they can have their own custom view and just do the view that they need versus the whole team need for the close workspace. So that's a nice enhancement feature. And so here's some more highlights. So those are the big ones. One of the big things that's also happening is from the company level. When you look at roles and user permissions, you have to go in and drill in to see what they're able to do in feature. They've now created a roles permissions report, so I can grab everybody in my company, see all their what permissions they have access to, and it gives me more of a robust consolidated snapshot of permissions of everybody in my company. So that's a really great feature that I'm very excited about, because as being on the implementation side and on the sales side, especially the implementation side, this is going to really help for if I'm an admin to see what everyone's user permission levels are, and I won't have to cross-reference in a different window. I can just see it all in one report. So on the, there's a new enhancement to the AP bank remittance. So last quarter, they were able to add logos to checks. They've expanded it so that way you can add logos to your remittance. You can also do compliance support. This is really beneficial. So if you're sending out an ACH and you need that remittance to be on that ACH, it's going to have your logo if you're multi-entity and give more detail from that compliance piece. So this is going to help a lot on the AP bank remittance, and this will be very nice to have kind of a more information from the remittance piece, because that was something that was a bit limited previously. And then with that remittance, you can decide in that configuration that you can add that PDF and attachment to your email. So that way you can add make it that it comes as a PDF of the remittance. You can also add payment details to the remittance. You can also include secondary contact information as well as email templates. And then you can pick your bank file remittance. So more options within the remittance area of AP, which is super beneficial. Giving your vendors more visibility. One big thing on the construction side is last quarter, they came out with the flexible retainage. Well, they've now taken that flexible retainage in Q2 and put it on a contract. So on your prime contract, you can set up the retainage and what date that if 50% is going to be retained, it can be released by a specific date. And you can pick certain areas of how you want that flexible retainage to be set up. The retainage release button will be on project contracts as well. So on that prime contract, you can then release retainage from the contract level. It just gives another functionality within the system to release retainage, as well as giving you these flexible retainage pieces of being able to release 50% across all lines within the contract. So gives you some more options there on the project contract. There's going to be some new enhancements in WIP management. So for WIP, you are now able to take in the PM forecast on the primary forecast estimate. So the projects that you add into your WIP, the integrated operations can now allow PMs to put their forecast information in there, so then you can compare on your WIP schedule. You can also set up WIP management so that the new WIP schedule projects and add the WIP schedule as enabled by a default. You can also do, you can update the project PM's forecast, and that kind of just goes more into that. You can upload it as well with this new feature. They're going to have some more enhancements later down the road, so I'm very excited how this is going to interact with this enhancement in the upcoming future. So stay tuned for the WIP management, because I know there's a lot more coming, and that will be exciting in the next year or so. Custom purchasing approvals. So this is circling back to the purchasing side of things. So on the purchasing side, there's now going to be, you can have custom approvals. So this, if you have approvals in the system today, this just allows for more customization if needed, that it can be a specific user group, a specific user, to be for just for purchase orders or just for subcontracts. You're able to create specific process and conditions for approval workflow and make it go to a certain amount. In this example, this shows like approval types, that if it's a subcontractor, how it goes through, if it equals a specific vendor name. This was a request from all our Intacct users, and the product team created this based on some feedback on the current approval purchasing process. So in order to do this, you have to be an early adopter if you're looking for a custom approval process. And if you want to be an early adopter, please contact your AM at EthoSystems, and we can then be able to help get you into the pilot program if you want to look into this as an option for you. Fixed asset management. So there's going to be a lot of slides on here about fixed asset management. This was a big piece that they did a lot of enhancements with this past Q2. So a lot of our EthoSystems customers have fixed asset management. One of the features they added last quarter was construction in progress. The big thing that they changed and added in Q2 within that construction in progress is they then added the ability to capitalize an asset. This allows it to be capitalized within AP and purchasing integrations. So that's going to benefit you long term, and you can put a capitalization date. Here I put a screenshot right here, so you're able to see that and prevent from additional costs being added to the capitalized asset. Some other features between fixed asset management, you're now able to summarize depreciation postings. This allows for a summarized GL entry, which is beneficial. This allows for simplified reconciliations. It also allows for clear visibility. You can see how individual assets depreciate roll up with summarized postings. So this is a new feature within the fixed asset management, which will be nice because I've had some folks ask for specific things on depreciation on the implementation side. So this will be a great feature to help on that end. The fixed asset management. Well, another thing that they're adding is you're able to split out assets. So if you have you bought a lump sum of laptops for your company and you need to split it up into 5 laptops, here you can see how it can take those assets and split it up into 5 laptops. So that's a new feature. Before you had to have one-to-one on your assets. This allows for a split within the assets, which is nice. I know I've had clients ask about this previously, and this allows for more functionality within fixed assets on that end. The other thing you can do is there's going to be reversal on depreciation postings. So you can be able to reverse a depreciation if needed to. This was something you had to do an adjustment to do a depreciation previously. So now you're able to reverse it. And now there's a reverse button within the depreciation schedule. You can also revert partial disposals. So if you have a disposal and you decide to revert it and you decide you don't need it partially disposed, you're able to revert if needed to. That's another feature within the fixed assets. They've also created some UI, user interface differences within fixed assets. There is now in the fixed assets, when you're looking at all your assets, the disposals used to be on the first tab. Now it's at the end, and it's got its own separate tab for disposal. So you're able to see that all at once. They've also changed in the user interface in this next quarter. They're changing just how you, on a bill, so say you have a bill that comes through and you need to identify an item on that bill to now become an asset. They've now just made it a little bit cleaner view here, so you're able to then create that fixed asset and add it to your assets within the fixed asset module. Now I'm going to switch gears into the inventory side. So on inventory, this was one of those features that Sage Intacct inventory clients were asking for, was more robust inventory item attachments. In here, you can add your attachment, but then it can give you more of a visual of that attachment, and it's able to be seen in a pop-out, which is super nice because then you're making sure you're absolutely grabbing the right inventory item, making it cleaner for inventory. They've also added, so switching gears to taxes. In taxes, they've now allowed for partial exemption at the top level of your AP transactions. So this makes partial exemptions to be supported on transactions. So if you have any partial exemptions, if you're in Canada, this could be beneficial there. So just wanted to point that out from that perspective. And then there's a screenshot of it there, and you can say where you can retrieve those files. This shows in this example for a UK client, but this would be applicable to our Canadian clients as well. And then that's about it for all the new features. So not a ton of new updates for Q2, but there are some in here. If you have any questions, if you want to look into AP automation or have questions about that, please contact EthoSystems and your AM. If you need assistance on any of these new features or running into any issues, please contact EthoSystems support. That's going to be that support at ethosystems.com. And then we'll have some upcoming webinars. And I know we have a conference coming up in Chicago this next month. So we would love to see any folks that can make it there and RSVP to let us know about that. But here you have that link of those events and webinars. And then once again, if you have any questions about the Q2 updates or run into any issues, please contact support at ethosystems.com. We have a really great support team and we're happy to help you. All right, thank y'all so much.